Hi, I'm Rachel Pappas. I am a longtime health writer, and in September 2009, I became a cancer survivor. I know what happens when you get hit with the "you have cancer" brick. Life does a 180. It becomes about doing the best you can moving forward, taking good care of yourself. Diet is a big part of the picture. Studies actually show that we can cut our chance of recurrence by 60% with diet and exercise. And if you're still living with cancer, it's one more thing you have in your corner to do the best you can, have what control is yours.
The big question is, what is a good diet for us now? And there's no one clear-cut answer. That's because foods in varied combinations react differently in our bodies. Finding the right balance can be like a chemistry project. But here are some excellent guidelines based on a number of studies. First, no cancer loves sugar. If you don't feed it sweet tooth, the bad cells start to die off. This means controlling your insulin. The first step is knowing the difference between good carbs and bad carbs. The bad carbs are in starch and refined sugars. That means laying low on white bread, potatoes, rice, pasta, chips, my favorite, unfortunately. It means cutting back on cakes, cookies, and candies. Proof is in the pudding, as they say. In one recent study, breast cancer patients cut sweets and starchy carbs just 2 days a week. The result? They lost weight. They reduced their insulin levels, and in doing so, had fewer incidents of cancer than the control group. Another study found women who ate little starch after breast cancer treatment had fewer recurrences. But not all carbs are the enemy. Some actually lower insulin. Studies tie consumption of these good carbs to fewer cancers and quite possibly fewer recurrences. This is where one of those food chemistry lessons I mentioned earlier comes in. Add to your mix whole grains, nuts, and a little fruit, and you can lower your insulin. This is because these carbs are high in fiber, and fiber affects absorption of carbs. Now let's talk about animal versus plant-based foods. Dietitians who work with cancer survivors typically say a good anti-cancer diet is rich in low-fat, plant-based foods. The China Cornell Oxford project, that's the largest research project on diet and disease, found something interesting. Chinese people had less cancers if they ate whole foods, mainly from plants, and ate less meats and dairy. But in a follow-up study, mortality had spiked over 13 years of evolution away from a whole plant-based diet. Studies since then show less recurrence of colon, breast, ovarian, and prostate cancers in people who ate less meats and/or dairy. Doesn't mean you need to cut out meat, but this is what you should know if you include meat in your diet. Avoid pan-fried or well-done red meats. Eat organic meats if you can afford them, especially if it's pork or beef. Avoid preservatives, mainly processed meats, especially if they are cured or salted. Poultry is best. It's lower in fat, and the law forbids manufacturers from shooting it up with hormones, unlike other meats. Cold water fish like salmon is good too. So now let's move on to calcium. It's real important to us now, especially for our bones. How do you get calcium if you lay lower on milk and cheese? You can get your share from dark leafy greens like spinach, bok choy, kale, collard greens. Some other sources are broccoli, dried beans, and figs. And you'll be getting a bonus because these plants have antioxidants that are not found in dairy. Antioxidants boost our immune system. Bad for cancer, good for us. While you're absorbing all this good food for thought, here are a few final tips. When you shop, stay in the outside aisles of the grocery store where the produce are. Read labels. Look for words like whole grain and no preservatives. For meat and eggs, hormone-free and raised cage-free. Check the fat content. Dietitians typically recommend no more than 3 or 4 grams of fat per 100 calories. If you've got to have a little meat or starchy carbs, there are doable compromises. Instead of meat in your lasagna, you might want to layer it with some of your favorite veggies. If you crave the occasional burger, Get rid of the cheese. Add some tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce, whatever veggies you like. And you might be surprised at what you like in combination.
I'm Rachel Pappas. If you'd like to know more about how you can take care of yourself now, hope you'll visit my site, www.oneuponcancer.com. You'll find plenty there on diet, on supplements, relaxation techniques, freebies and discounts for survivors, organizations doing cool things for us. Basically, a lot of what you need to know to live the good life that you want and that you deserve.